Good morning, YouTube. This is Eddie Berrios from the Bronx. I'm here today, this morning. It's about 7 a.m. out here. Nice cool breeze morning. I'm here today to give you a lesson. This is for the Bruce Lee delusional fans, and as well as the Bruce Lee fans who know what Bruce Lee really was. Merely just a practical kung fu artist, an actor, and a teacher, not a real fighter. I'm not saying, again, I always say I'm not saying Bruce Lee couldn't fight. I'm just saying he didn't fight, and he didn't fight fighters that mattered. But the delusional fans seem to think he could beat everybody in the entire planet. Because of, and I don't blame a lot of these delusional fans because they don't read the right stories. They read a story by another fan, and that's automatically what they believe. Some people are just gullible that way. I'm not one of those people. I like Bruce Lee. I enjoy watching his movies. Matter of fact, I just watched his Game of Death yesterday. I thought his style was cool. The way he moves, very artistic. But fans, they watch these movies, they watch these demonstrations, and they think this is what he would actually be like in a real fight. And it's just not realistic. Kung Fu action stars will tell you straight, it's not the way it is. Guys like Jet Li and Jackie Chan and all those dudes, they'll tell you straight out. When it's a real fight, none of that shit that they do in the movies is gonna work. And it's not even like that. Jackie Chan was the most honest of all of them. He said you watch him in a movie and you see all the fancy moves, but he said in a real fight, it's fucking kind of madness. Oh, what the? Shit ain't gonna work. Anyways, so I'm gonna give you the origins of how Bruce Lee's story actually starts. So you got a Bruce Lee fan. There's a Bruce Lee fan who saw a demonstration against a fighter, a real fighter. But understand, it's just a demonstration. So this fan takes this story and he twists the shit out of it. So he'll take a snapshot of that demonstration with Bruce Lee and the guy he's fighting, whether it's a champion or not, post up with each other. And he'll put out a story or a video that titles Bruce Lee Beats Champion. Then about 20 or 30 other Bruce Lee fans see this, and some of them will repost it. And if they keep reposting, what happens is the story just changes every time somebody reposts the same story. So mind you, the original story was just merely a demonstration. Now, all of a sudden, it's a real fight, and Bruce Lee beats the champion in 10 seconds. 20 more people see that video. The story changes again. Oh, Bruce Lee beat him in 5 seconds with a 1-inch punch. So as the story goes along, it just keeps changing and changing and changing, and to the point where everybody believes that Bruce Lee actually beats that champion. And then you have people like me and other people like me that actually do research, and they find the original story, which was merely a demonstration. These guys never fought. I mean, they did the same thing with Chuck Norris, Everybody knows Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee hung out sometimes, not for long periods of time, but they trained together. So Bruce Lee's never said he was Chuck Norris' teacher. Chuck Norris never said he taught Bruce Lee. Nobody was saying. It's the fans who are doing this. So they get a picture of Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, and then they start with the stories. Oh, they had a secret fight and Bruce Lee beat Chuck Norris. If it was a secret fight, how the fuck would they know about it? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've read a couple of fanboys posting that Bruce Lee was Chuck Norris' teacher, and Bruce Lee beat Chuck Norris in a secret fight. I guess secret fight, and he's the only one who knew about it. The fact that he wasn't even alive when this supposed secret fight happened. So that's the origins of Bruce Lee stories. They are altered by each freaking person, and a lot of gullible people, they just believe anything they read. They see anything online, and oh, it must be true. It's online. It has to be true. So it's funny to me. I've been talking to a lot of Bruce Lee people who've been like trying to chew me out and tell me stories. And then I love the guys who always tell me, "Oh, this really happened. I saw it." Where did you see it? Oh, do the research. If you're a good researcher, you'll find it too. Well, you saw it. Tell me where it was. Give me the title to the story. Send me the link. What's the story? Oh, you're just a shitty researcher. Oh, you don't want to share it? You're the only... Hey, to the ones who do that, you're the only one who says they saw this because nobody else saw it. Nobody. And I know they're bullshitting. I know they didn't see anything. They're just trying to make a false point by saying they saw something that they never ever saw. Because the fact is, if anybody actually saw what they're saying they saw, they would post it or give the link or give the title story so we can all see it so we can shut the fuck up. But they never do. They never do. They just stick to their lie, thinking that, we're stupid. I mean, just some people are gullible and some are not. Some are gullible and some are not. Had one guy the other day tell me, "Oh, I saw it on PBS in 1970 something." Oh, really? That's when you saw it. You saw it on PBS. So I researched his PBS story. It doesn't exist. And it's not because I'm a shitty researcher. I'm 55 years old. I've been using the internet since it first came out. So it's just... most of the shit they say just doesn't exist. And then the ones that do exist, there's a twist on the story because the original story doesn't compare to what they are saying about the story. So you can clearly see that they added a few things to the story just to make them enhance a little better. That's the same thing they do in Bruce Lee movies. Like when you see a Bruce Lee movie, like the story of Bruce Lee, it says based on true events. You see based on true events on a movie, and you really believe that everything in the movie is true events. No, it's just based on true events. But characters are changed. A lot of storyline is added to enhance it, to make it more better. And a lot of people don't understand this. They say based on a true story, and that's what they think it is. Like everything is accurate and true. Some of the story might be true, not all of it. Matter of fact, half of it, it's not true. If they just did a story about Bruce Lee's life on actual events, how exciting would that be? It wouldn't be exciting at all. Because all the fights would be gone. Because the fact is, Bruce Lee didn't fight. He just didn't fight real fighters. He didn't fight, he did demonstrations, he did movies. The claim about him being a street fighter, that didn't come from Bruce Lee. That came from the fans. Oh, he didn't fight in competition because he was a street fighter. Come on, street fighter. Yeah, I was a street fighter when I was a kid too. So if one of you delusional Bruce Lee fans are gonna make ridiculous claims, don't tell us, "Oh, research it and you'll see." No, tell us where you saw it. Because it seems to me that you're the only one who saw that story. You're the only one. So throw the link. Give us the title, the title of where you found the story. If you give us the title, we'll find it in 2 seconds. But you never do. Because the story doesn't exist. The story is passed around. Bruce Lee's story. Let me give you a prime example of a Bruce Lee story, okay? Everybody heard about the Giuliani slap When I first saw the story, Giuliani was slapped in a Walmart by an employee. I was like, holy shit, somebody hit him. Giuliani comes out in the interviews. Oh, I was hit so hard, it felt like a gunshot, like somebody hit me with a boulder on my back. And then he had the lady standing next to him back his story. Oh, he was hit so hard that I almost fell. Then Fox got a hold of it. Oh, Giuliani attacked. This guy should be prosecuted to the high extent. Then Newsmax got a hold of it. Oh, a travesty. Giuliani attacked. And then the world saw the original video. And everybody said, what a crock of shit. It's no different than a Bruce Lee story. It starts off with one guy taking a real original story and just hyping it up. And then another guy changes the story more and makes it like more dramatic. And then 20 more people see it, and another guy, and they just repeat. And then people like me and researchers, real researchers, find the original story and say, it's bullshit. And it seems that most Bruce Lee stories are bullshit. They're just enhanced for dramatic effect, just like a movie. You know, Bruce Lee beats up example. Bruce Lee, a movie extra on one of his sites, on one of his movies. True story. This movie is true. They even took that. So a movie extra on one of Bruce Lee's movies challenged him to a fight. He didn't think Bruce Lee was good. Bruce Lee kicks the shit out of this guy. Now, mind you, this guy's not a fighter. He's not a champ. He's a movie extra. He's an extra. He has no lines. He's just a background guy. Bruce Lee beats him. But the story is Bruce Lee beats karate champion on movie set who challenged him. And even some said Bruce Lee beat the person he fought on that movie set was Bolo Chen. They just exaggerate the story to the point where people actually believe Bruce Lee beat Bolo Chen. But it turns out it was just a movie extra. Bolo Chen is the one who told the story. The original story came from Bolo Chen. Bolo Chen was on that site, on that movie site, with the guy who challenged Bruce Lee. But the fans just took it like he beat Bolo Chen. And I seen the title on some of the videos. So they show Bolo Chen and Bruce Lee looking like they're gonna fight. But it's just them practicing for their fight scene for the movie. But Bruce Lee beat Bolo Chen. Bolo Chen challenged Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee beat him. This is the extent of the bullshit Bruce Lee stories that are perpetrated by fanboys. And I don't blame all of them. I blame the one who started the bullshit. The other ones are just gullible fools who repeated. And then the other fools who added to the story. Anyways, my point is to you people who comment on some of my videos and tell me I'm a shitty researcher and you told me you saw this and you saw that, but you can't ever produce where you saw it at. Just give me some if you do the research, you'll find it. No, just tell me where you saw it. It's not that simple. You can shut me the hell up if you just tell me where you saw it. Give me the title, give me the link, give me something. Tell me where you saw it. Because your story doesn't exist. And you know deep down in your heart it's bullshit what you're saying. And it's not making you look any more smarter, you're not gonna convince me. I want to see it. I'm not gullible like you. I'm not gonna look at a story and just automatically believe it. I'm gonna do the research and find out the original story. And usually when it comes to Bruce Lee stories, the original story is pretty bland, not as exciting as it has been, fucking altered 20 times by 20 different people. But when you find the original, you're like, oh, I knew it. Anyways, Eddie Berrios from the Bronx. Peace.